And welcome back to I Have a Story. While I'm talking about my schooling here, I'm going to talk about how I got completely screwed out of school, high school and college. Again, I'm asking people, please like, subscribe, share, try helping me build and get heard. But you think your life is crazy, you think the things that happen in your life are bad and just unbelievable. Please, people, keep following along. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be an automotive engineer, is what my number one dream job was, other than to be a fisherman. But that wasn't in the cards, and I was raised that you don't think about having fun for a living. You have to be serious, because having fun doesn't play out. Look at the world around us today. I mean, I agree, having fun shouldn't pay out like it does, but it pays out, doesn't it? So I was in auto mechanics in high school. There's definitely several stories I could talk about in that auto mechanics shop, that's for darn sure. But when I was in auto mechanics, my junior year, after we completed our junior year, they decided they were going to shut down auto mechanics at the school I was going to, because we went to a rich school that pretty boys and girls don't want to be mechanics and get dirty. So there wasn't anybody there. It was mostly for the kids that were in those schools that weren't academically, didn't have it academically. I guess just to put it in simple terms. So my senior year, there was only three of us left. Bill Goldgley, or Brian Goldgley, Bill, I can't remember Bill's last name. There's me, Brian, and Bill. And they decided they were going to shut down auto mechanics because it wasn't worth keeping it open just for the three of us. They worked out another deal in the next city over for us to transfer to that school to finish off our senior year, which was all a bunch of baloney because the three of us were seniors. That's all they had. All they had to do was keep the shop open for three class segments, and then we went to work in the shop. We went to math. We had two classes in school. We went math, something else. Then we went to shop for like 2 or 3 periods, and then we went to work for the other half of the day. So really, they only had to keep auto mechanics open for three sessions a day. But that wasn't worth it to them because we were a bunch of peon mechanics. They didn't care about us. So we end up starting out our senior year at the other school, and within the first couple of days, they said, hey, whatever deal they worked out, it fell through. You guys got to go back to your school. You don't pay our taxes. We can't have you here. So then we went back to our original school, and they put us in study hall all day long. That's the only class we had. Study hall, 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 because they didn't know what to do with us. Now, at that time, I had 3 jobs. 3 jobs still going to high school. I'm falling asleep. You weren't allowed, and that's another thing, too, is the study hall was detention. You weren't allowed to sleep. You weren't allowed to eat. You weren't allowed to talk. It was a detention, straight up detention study hall. I learned how to sleep with my head up. That's where I learned how to sleep with my head up. Because I worked 3 jobs and I get bored, I fall asleep. Oh. Be careful, I get on this camera and get all talking, I might get my head moving and I don't take care of myself the way that I normally do. It gets me outside of my realm of comfortability and then I pop my spine. I gotta be careful. So it was a study hall that was basically detention all day was all we got. So after a few weeks of that, I couldn't take anymore. I kept getting sent down to the principal's office. I'm not in detention. I didn't do anything wrong. You guys are not going to detain me. Give us something to do. Put us in a class. Well, we don't know what to do with you because now you either have to get into another trade and come back for 2 more years. And by the time we're already a few weeks into our senior year and they figured this all out, it was already too late for our senior year to get credits to be able to finish our senior year to begin with. So they said, and they called the 3 of us down to the office. Mr. Russell, our principal, said, I give you 3 options. I give you 2 options. You can either come back for 2 more years. Your senior year doesn't count, so it would actually be on a 6-year high school run. You can come back for 2 more years and either take an academic or get into another trade, or you can all drop out right now. I know none of you are old enough. Your parents don't even need to know. Just sign the piece of paper and get out of here. I trashed his office. I trashed it. Thank you for wasting my time. Books everywhere, smashed everything. I destroyed his office. My brother and sister went to that school several years later, and apparently what I had done, it still echoed in that school for trashing his office and going nuts. You guys just wasted my time. I have no degree. What the hell did you just do to us? This is how our school teaches people. Again, you people want to understand the mentality I have. Listen to what my life has been. Now let's move on to college. I was a steel worker. I went into the steel. I tried becoming a police officer. They told me, you're a white male. We're not allowed to hire you. Even all the way back in 1996. But I'm supposed to believe that today is still, we're racist against foreigners and anybody who's not white, right? We're only racist against the white person. My entire adult life is all I've ever seen. I was told directly to my face, I cannot be a police officer. I actually wanted to join the service, but there's a lot of reasons, and I won't go into that now, but there's a lot of reasons I didn't join the service. A big part is I'm not going to war and risking my life because a president got a blowjob and now we need to cover it up. I'm not playing these games. I will sit here and risk my life on the streets and protect the people I see every day. And that's what I did. But to be a police officer, I wasn't allowed to be a police officer because I'm a white male. And they told me straight to my face, we cannot hire you. You're a white male. Go back in the city of Toledo's records. It's right in their paperwork. They're not allowed to hire white males. And we're allowed to tell you right to your face. Again, racism on everybody else but us. And we wonder what's wrong with so many people. That causes racism. The root of what causes racism, anybody to hate anybody else, is to give other people special privileges over you. That is inequality all the way around, but that's all our country is. It's all it's ever been. Finally waking up to so much of it because I tried to deny it. Quit denying it, people. We live in a world of delusion. Look at the delusional world we have turned into. So I was a steelworker. I went in the steelworkers union. Lowest paid, highest labored work job in the trades. It sucked. I honestly liked it because it was one hell of a workout. I went in at 180 pounds, and 3 years later, which I lost that job because of 9/11 and the steel industry went down the tubes. 3 years later, I came out at 220 pounds, built like a brick. I bowled and smashed bowling machines and used to get kicked out of bowling alleys because a bowling ball feels like a marble. You go move 30 to 50,000 pounds of steel a day by hand and then pick up 18 pounds and feel that's a marble. I used to break bowling alleys, break their machines, crack pins, crack bowling balls. My nickname when I walked in the bowling alley was Powerball, and I couldn't help it. I was so damn strong, and I took that job to the absolute max, but more to talk about later. Part of where I've hurt myself. So, I decided, and the raises that we got, the pay was horrible. It was terrible. The union was terrible. It didn't do nothing for us. It was a terrible job. In great part because of the owner and who I worked for. And the whole shop felt that way. It wasn't just me. And I'll talk more about that later because there's a lot to talk about. But I decided, all right, I'm going to go to college. So I started going to college and paying cash out of my pocket. I just got married, building a house by hand, by myself. Rebuilding a house, I should say. I tore the whole house apart and redid the entire house. Talk more about that later too. But then I got offered a job working for a chemical company, and it was a very good paying job and a lot of chances for advancement. Part of the problem with unions, you don't get to advance in a union. Everything's done by seniority, and I was the last person to hire in that place in 3 years. When I was in the steelworkers union, I was the last person in our company that had been hired in 3 years, so there's nowhere for me to go. Everybody's above me. After 3 years, I still don't even have a single step of advancement, even in view. There's nowhere for me to go here. So I got offered the job in the gas company, and I said, you know what? They're willing to pay for schooling, and I can get one heck of an education and knowledge and a good job and all of it. Yes, I'm in. So I took it. And more I'll be talking about with schooling here very soon with me and my schooling, and even with that particular job. But I ended up given that job up for a lot of reasons, which I'll talk more about because it was totally, again, corruption and insanity, just nuts. But I ended up giving up that job, and a great deal was because I went through a divorce, and I was the head of the second highest in that shop, and I had to work second shift because the first highest got first shift, and they needed him to cover first shift, and they needed me to cover second. And I couldn't see my son working second shift. So he went to school, he got out of school, I'm at work. I don't get to see my son but 4 days a month. No, I won't accept that. So I quit and started going to college again to become a nurse. I've actually gone to school for nursing twice now. That's what I was going to school for. The first time when I was paying out of my pocket was for nursing. But I didn't want to just be a nurse. I wanted to specialize in nursing, which I'll talk more about that again in another video to try to keep these short. I could go on and on and on. But I went into Owens Community College and said, you know, I'm going to go to school for nursing. And they were like, wow, a man who wants to be a nurse, a big, strong, physical man who wants to be a nurse. Took my prerequisites, my math skills, they said, were completely off the scales. They said, your math skills are just unbelievable. With being a man and your math skills going into medical, you're going to be straight to the top in an instant. I said, sweet, sign me up. So they put me in with the head of the nursing program. She was an older lady, and she signed me up for my first semester of classes, and I had a friend at the time. Her name was Jenna Kowalski. She was going to school for nursing, and she was ecstatic that I was too, and she had just started nursing school and said, Jason, get into it so we can do it together. Then we'll have a partner, and we can partner up, and we'll be able to work together. Yes, that's great. Always good to have a partner in life, right? I don't know what that's actually like. So I come back after I got signed up for my classes, and Jenna looked at my thing and my roster and said, no, you don't need any of these. They tried doing this to me too. Go back, tell them you want all these dropped, and these are the classes you want, because this right here is a complete semester of a waste of time that you don't need to take. Wait, why is school set up like that? I shouldn't have to pick. It should just be a set, straight, fastest route. This is what you need to do to get to your degree, right? No, it's all about a money suck. Everything in this world. I freaking hate money. I hate it. Burn it all. I can't stand the sight of it. Part of why I don't have it. Get it away from me. I hate it. My life has been destroyed over it by so many damn people, including my school. So I was getting student loans and paying for everything with student loans. This was after my assault took place. I guess I should throw that in there. I was kidnapped, tortured, or beaten for an entire night, had my ear cut off my head, my throat slit, and my body dumped and left for dead. I was bedridden for a very long time, in very bad shape, obviously. And I thought, if there's anything I can get out of this, I need to live, I need to pay bills. I can't even stand up on my own 2 feet, but I can lay in bed and do schooling online through a computer and at least come out with a degree in the end of all of this and hopefully be able to get back on my feet and make it somewhere, right? That's the way I think. I get my student loans, and was how I was able to get back out of my parents' house again at 31 years old. I was 32 at the time. It happened right on my birthday. I was 32 when I needed to get out of my parents' house because it was a terribly abusive situation, and even on my son it was horrible. So I had to get out of there. So all the way around, student loans got me money. I could lay in bed and listen to the computer talk to me, whether it was a computer program or whether it was a professor on the screen, whatever, and then answer questions. Yeah, I can sit here and lay here in bed and do that, and then hopefully end up with a degree, so when I get health back on my feet and get my health taken care of, and these doctors who still, after 14 years, still don't even have my health taken care of or even testing done 14 freaking years later, all of it is insanity. So that got me out of my parents' house, got me back on my feet and living in what was supposed to be a better situation. Ended up being another terrible one. That's another story. I'll keep on going later. So I went back to the school before semester started, met with the head of nursing at Owens Community College, and I said, I was told that these are all the wrong classes. I don't need a single one of these. These are nothing that even get me advancement. These are just like blow-off classes to take. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. You don't need any of these. We just like to get people introduced into it. No, you just want to take more money and waste more of my time. That's all you people do. That's all anybody in this world does. Fuck money. I'm sick of it. It's devastational. Something that does not even exist, man-made, does not do a damn thing for us but keep us fighting amongst ourselves, killing people over it. Yay, it's a wonderful thing. Fucking hate it. So she signs me up for a whole nother set of classes and gets me in the classes that Jenna put on paper that I needed to take, which were the actual ones I needed to take. So I start taking my classes and I log into my account and see that those classes are still showing up on my roster. So a couple weeks after semester started, I called the nurse, the head of the nursing department. I said, look, these are still showing up in here. She said, don't worry about it. They just haven't dropped off yet. We've got them canceled. Everything's taken care of. Okay, thank you. A couple weeks later, they're still showing up, and they're still showing up on my GPA average as a full semester of zeros, or a full class set of classes of zeros, and then a full class that I'm taking, a roster that I'm taking with my grades, and they're combining them all together. I had like a 92%, but you add a 0 to 50% of your grades, brings you down to nothing, a failure. So I even went and sat down with her and met her. I met with her 3 times over this. I sat down and said, they're still showing up on my account. Well, don't worry about it. They just haven't dropped out. They'll drop off when they drop off, and I'm not sure how long it takes, but it'll drop off by the end of the semester. Everything will balance out. You'll be just fine. She never canceled those classes. Never did it properly. Whatever it takes on their end, never got it canceled. So what happened? Semester ends. I get a 92% for the 50% of the courses that are on paper that I actually went to, and a 0 on the other 50%, which failed me in school. And I had to pay, I'm still in debt to it. I have to pay student loans back on both of those sets of classes. People, when I tell you I open up all my records to you, this is on record. I mean, obviously my student loan records will show I paid for 2 sets of classes at the same time. I was charged for them. It'll also show that on my school roster that I had a full set of classes of 50% nothing and a full set of classes of 92% or 90-some percent, wherever I was at. In the end, it gave me an F. I lost it all. And I still owe $14,000 because it was $7,000 for each set of semester of classes, and they charged me for both of them and billed me through student loans, and they got paid for all of it. This whole stinking country is nothing but a money-scounding racket. I'm sick of it. I hate it. I want out of it. This is all my life has ever been, every single step of the way, every single step. Anytime I rely on anybody in my life, all I do is get screwed. And right here's how I got screwed out of school and in debt. And I even sat down and recorded the conversation with that school where they told me, yeah, that was our fault, our bad. Sorry, but there's nothing we can do about it. It's already done. We can't change it. Goodbye. And screwed my whole life again. Part of why I don't have shit.